Good evening, everyone. My name is Thomas Ruffin. I'm owner and operator of Wiseman Incorporated, and welcome to Wiseman TV with another 1 hour segment with yours truly, the beautiful, the lovely ICandi representative, Ayanna. How are you?
How are you this evening?
I'm well. I'm blessed,
Yes.
highly favored. The show's all yours.
So thank you so much for having me again this Wednesday. I'm so excited for the show today. I've been waiting to have this designer on for a minute now, and that is the lovely, beautiful Tay Kay from is it Tay Kay Couture? Because I always butcher
So
the name.
my brand is Taylor Love Couture, but there's Tay K Styling. So I
Oh,
kind of have like two realms.
okay, so I'm not because I'm like, okay, is it? I know I see the Tail of Love and the TK. I keep getting like, okay, so maybe it is too. So actually, let's talk a little bit about that. So what's the difference between the two?
So Taylor Love is my actual like name. That's my on my birth certificate. Taylor Love is my legitimate name. And Taylor Love Couture just represents my lingerie brand. And that I want to be a sort of high quality luxury lingerie brand. Whereas Tay K Styling is a little bit more urban and we kind of style like, more so like hip hop artists or more urban and streetwear kind of looks, and more so just like focus on the styling aspect of things.
Okay, I see. So with the Love Couture, I was looking at a couple of the pictures. One picture in particular that I wanted to talk about. You have a young lady. I believe she had on all white with angel wings.
Yes, Jasmine.
That Jasmine Milan, I think was is her name, right?
Yeah, she's an amazing model from Rhode Island.
That picture is just so dope. And could you just tell us like a little bit of what you used to make that? Yes. What did you use
Yeah,
to make this?
absolutely. So the wings were provided from the studio, but the bra is crystal beading, and so is the underwear as well with a binding around the edges to kind of give it some stretch. But everything was crystal beading, and then it had an off the shoulder crystal beaded strap for trim, and also one on the main strap as well.
Oh, that is so beautiful. And would you say so that when I look at this picture, I think of like Victoria's Secret angels, right?
I know for us, because I grew up watching, the Victoria's Secret fashion show as we all did. And that was part of the reason why I wanted to do lingerie, is because those women on there all look the same. Like, granted, they tried to make a change now. Okay, it's a little late, but they all look the same. Super tall, super thin, super perfect, and a lot of them, not saying majority, but a lot of them, were not of, the melanated skin tone. So I wanted to use my platform in order to highlight, Black women, women with different body types, the LGBTQ community, because at the end of the day, we're all human. People might look at me and say, oh, you're skinny, you should model, da 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 da. But like, we all have our own insecurities. Everybody wishes something was different about them. And I really wanted to just highlight the beauty in all of our differences. There's not just, one standard of beauty. Everybody is beautiful to somebody different. Somebody might think that, you're gorgeous, but they might find, you in a different country to be, not as beautiful. So you have to have that confidence within yourself. And that's what I wanted to really hopefully exude with my brand.
Well, it is definitely beautiful. It is definitely something that I can see actually hitting the runway. Like
Thank
that's
you.
definitely something, I mean, I don't care if it's Rihanna, whoever's fashion show, I definitely can see it up there on the runway.
Thank you.
I do like about it is that I've seen you at a couple of different shows, and like you said, a lot of the models are kind of typical. You have the thin model, And you do beautiful lingerie for curvy chicks. Like
Yes.
everyone wants to look beautiful. You know what I mean? So you don't just do it for, just the regular average, as America would say, model type. You know what I
Right.
mean? But the new model type, which we all know are the nice curvy models, and you do it for them as
Yes.
well. And kudos to you. I truly love that about you. Um,
Thank you.
so as I was going through the photos, I one of the questions I couldn't wait to ask you is because when I think of, okay, she's doing lingerie,
Ooh.
and yeah, look at that right there. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, you have taken somebody that might not feel too sexy, or someone that might just not have confidence, and let them know, just looking at this picture, looking at this model, all you see is confidence. All you see is, I am beautiful, and everyone should feel that way. Everyone is entitled to have that feeling and know that they are beautiful. And the fact that you can sit up there and design a piece of lingerie for a plus size model is remarkable. And I hope that you go very far. This is something that needs to be in the stores, okay? it, Victoria's Secret need to pick you up and have you making some stuff for them, because you definitely got it. Um, where did you actually start? Did you go to school for designing? How did you get into it? I'm sorry, I'm gonna pause for a second because I think that you're muted.
Oh, can you
There you
hear me
go.
now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. So as a kid, I was never really good with math. I was never really good at science. I was always like, I had great grades, but I always knew if I was gonna go to college, it wasn't gonna be for something that was very academically intensive, and I definitely knew I wanted to go to college. So I took a fashion course my sophomore year and it went amazing. I loved it. And I decided I was going to go to school for fashion design. And I went to school for 4 years. I got my bachelor's degree in design. And I just came out and kept going with the fashion. I knew I wasn't really that great at anything else, but I was good at fashion. So I was like, you got to take this and you have to make it something. If you're going to, dedicate yourself to this, you need to dedicate yourself. And so I just started putting out collections and trying to get the ball rolling on it.
Okay. And if you don't mind me asking, how old are you? Because you look pretty young.
So I'm actually a little bit sensitive because I just turned 29 and it's my last year of my 20s and I'm stressed. Like I'm trying to live it out. Okay. This is the last year for me to have fun and kind of mess up and be irresponsible. Then, after that, I got to really just be on it, So, but yeah, I just turned 29 in October.
Oh wow, you don't even look 29. I do know
Well,
that you have
thank
a
you. Thank you.
beautiful, beautiful little girl. And does she give you some inspiration?
My daughter,
Into this.
Callie, absolutely. She is the driving force, behind everything. And I wanted her, I always used to think about like, I want her to be proud of me. And when other kids, you know how it is with kids, it's very like competitive and my mom does this and my mom, it's very, very competitive as a child. And I just wanted her to be proud of me and what I'm doing and not be ashamed to say, my mom does this. And, I just wanted it to be something that she could be proud of. So she's definitely a major driving force behind everything that I do and pursuing what you love and not just, going with the flow because this is what everybody says you have to do, This is something that everybody, my family in the beginning, they tried to persuade me. They're like, well, you've done so well. Why don't you do, be a lawyer? Why don't you I wanted to do forensic science at first, but I knew like
Okay.
fashion was where my heart really was at. And I knew I could really make something from that. And I just want her to see you can do it. You can make it happen. Even as, a Black woman, you can create your own business. You can follow your dreams and it can be lucrative as long as you keep going. You can't give up. And that's, I think, the most important message I want to give to her is to never give up on yourself.
Exactly. And I'm sure, I know that she has a strong mom, so I'm sure that that's being instilled in her head daily that, you know, the right from the wrong, basically, of what to do. So let's dig a little bit more into the fashion. And one
Yeah.
of the things that I notice is that even though you are really, well, pretty much known for your lingerie collection, I see you also do a lot of men collections when it comes to the lingerie. I'm so
Yes.
sorry. The I just want to apologize to you. It's from the hospital to the bed. I'm just trying to get myself
Aw.
comfortable here, but
That's
yes,
okay, girl.
I do see you do a lot of men lingerie as well. So I want to talk about that a little bit. What made you
Yes.
decide to dab a little bit onto the I say the dark side, so the men's
It is.
side.
It's the dark side because not a lot of people understand it. So for me, with Taylor Love Couture, we call it mengerie. We're in the process of like hopefully getting that trademark so that can be like our thing, but we call it mengerie. And basically it's like, men, they have their wants and their needs. They want us to wear, all these beautiful things, and on birthdays and holidays and Valentine's Day we gotta put on all these things, which I know, as you know, sometimes they're not always comfortable. Mine are, but they're not always very comfortable. And I started to think, I'm like, well, what is there for men when they want to get dressed up? Or what if it's our birthday, or what if it's Valentine's Day and we want them to wear something nice? Maybe we get tired of the Dusty Hanes and the Ethica briefs. Like, maybe we're tired of that. Maybe we want a little, spice. Maybe you can put a little pizzazz in there. So that was my driving force behind that. So I make lingerie for heterosexual males as well as homosexual males, and they're engineered differently. I recognize that they're both males, but there's a different need in both of those genres, and I try to cater to that with like the fabrics that I use and the cuts that I use, and the type of style of the piece in general will be totally different. But of course, whoever wants to wear it can absolutely wear it. But a major part of my brand is I try to engineer pieces specifically for certain people so they can feel comfortable.
Yes, and this piece here looks like it's very comfortable. Now, is that all lace?
Yes, that's all lace. It's a Swiss dot lace stretch, and it's in black
Mm,
sheer. Super comfy, no buttons, no ties. It's elastic waistband. Just, me, it's
love it.
lingerie, so it's made to come off basically. So what's the point of all those buttons and stuff like that? So
Exactly.
that's, my whole thing. Comfort and appeal.
Yes, and that's a very, very sexy. Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you,
very,
thank
very
you, thank you.
sexy.
That's what we're going for.
Lingerie, as you call it.
Yes.
Yes, definitely. Um, but I love it. It's so funny because I know when I got into fashion, I kept saying I didn't want to do anything that had to do with men. I felt like men were harder. Did you feel like it was more of a just harder experience to actually design for men, or were you always comfortable designing for both men and women? Did you struggle a little bit with the on the man side?
For me, yes. I was so used to doing women's wear, and I had never done menswear besides tailoring in college. And so coming out of college and not having anybody to rely on and say, hey, am I doing this right? It was a little scary. It was a little bit of new territory for me, but I love a challenge. So I just kind of like, I take men's pieces. I would like borrow things from my dad or from my brother and kind of like cut them up and make patterns from that so that I know the general fit. And then I would try it on my model and, nip and tuck it here and there and get it perfect. And now, I know how to do men's stuff. So, you live and you learn.
Hmm. Very good, and you definitely do some wonderful pieces. I
Thank you.
really like that. While we're on the lace, I want to talk about your red ensemble. Um,
Yay.
you have here this red ensemble, beautiful. Once again, You definitely know how to pick the models for them. So this red ensemble that you have here, do you pick names to your outfits? Like some designers
Yes.
tell me like they name their outfits. So I started naming my outfits because I'm like, okay, I don't know. I have to put a name to the outfit. Like,
Yes.
what would the name of this red piece be? What is there a name?
So the red ensemble is named Maria only because this collection was inspired by Dia de los Muertos. So I used a bunch of influential, I guess you would say, either Mexican heritage or Latin heritage individuals to name all of the pieces. So one was named Cortez, one was named Maria. We had to name one Griselda, my robe with the black fur. So yeah, that's why that one is named Maria. And I don't know, it just looks like a Maria piece.
Yeah, that's beautiful, and I love the flower imprinted into that. Now, do you get your fabrics? Do you order your fabrics? Do you get them shipped in? And how do you go about picking the perfect fabric?
I get them locally. I shop at either Joann's or sometimes I'll go to Lorraine Fabrics, but honestly, I primarily go to Joann's because they have coupons. And they have a lot of great variety there. Honestly, you'll be surprised. But that actual red embellished material that was a part of her skirt, I got that at Lorraine's, which is right here in Pawtucket, locally owned, small business. So it's always great to help support.
Definitely, definitely. So let's talk a little bit more on the business side. So,
Sure.
being that the world has changed for everyone, 2020, and COVID, I feel like has slowed down a lot of things for people. Like you and I, you know, by now we would have done shows like going crazy from doing so many shows
Girl.
throughout the summer.
Okay.
Um, how do you feel like stressed any way that you haven't been able to do any live shows, or is it giving you, because of COVID hit, it's giving you time to think about more collections? Like, what has it put a bad spot? Does it get you overwhelmed because you're not showcasing right now, or is it great because now you can sit and think about more things to do?
I think I see it as a positive. I had kind of started taking a step back from doing so many shows because, as you know, as a designer, it's super stressful for us, and we go through a lot of work and a lot of finances to try and make that happen. And it's great exposure, but as far as like what it relates to financially, I started to realize like getting yourself out there and everything is great, but it wasn't helping me so much financially as much as it was costing me to do the shows. It wasn't as much of a return, but it was great, networking and great experience and getting yourself out there. So for me, I think with this all happening, it made me realize kind of like what was actually propelling me forward and what I thought was helping to propel me forward. And I think it helped me focus a little bit more on fine tuning my business and really getting things like trademarked and just like getting everything really just official and applying for my business now and doing everything, in a more legitimate way, because that's really all I could do during this time. And now I think also for us designers, shows are a big deal, but I felt like, people who come to shows, they would come, but I think now we're going to have an even better and bigger turnout, and it'll be even more beneficial for us as designers because people have been deprived of being able to really do anything. So I think soon as, everything kind of comes back around, everybody will kind of be more, like a little bit more appreciative of being able to enjoy certain things. So I hope for us designers, we have like better turnouts, at our shows, and, it's a little bit more rallying with us, for our shows and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you used that word turnout, because one of the things that I find or that I have seen is in in regards to turnout is, for some reason, here in Boston, just getting that support of people to come out and support you, whether it's a fashion show, a hair show, a dance competition, no matter what it is. Um, it seems like people tend to, I feel like you should have, Boston should be able to have the same platform that New York has. Boston should have the
Agreed.
same platform as LA. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
We have a lot of very talented designers here in Boston. And I could sit here and run down a whole list of them. Um, but for whatever reason it is, it's
Yep.
like the the support isn't good. Do you have a good strong support system like within your family? Do you feel like your support system is good?
Absolutely. Within my family, I think everybody is very supportive of me and what I want to do. They definitely try to make it to at least one person in my family will come to every show that I've had. And I think, family wise, we have a great amount of support, or, hopefully. But I totally agree with what you're saying as far as like with the arts and in the area that we're in, it's not as much support for, like you said, all different types of artists. It doesn't matter whether you're like a local rapper or you're like a local fashion designer. It's kind of like the arts are kind of put on a back burner when it comes to entertainment. When people are looking to be entertained, it's kind of like, do I want to go to the fashion show or do I want to go to the club? And people are kind of like, I'd rather go to the club. So I'm just hoping, like you said, we can get that same kind of like turnout that you'll get at a New York Fashion Week or an LA Fashion Week, something like that, where it's like this is the event of the year almost.
Mm-hmm. And I've said that so many times. Like if all of us designers, band together, and like you said, you got to invest in your own self. And a lot of us just don't have that money. I People say, "Oh, you have a storefront." No, I don't have a storefront at all, but you can look online and you can see my stuff. But I feel like if some of the designers band together, we can do a huge red carpet event where people are traveling from
Yep.
New York, people are coming from London, people are coming from Paris, because now it's Boston's turn to have our big show.
Right.
All just a meeting of the minds, just a meeting
Agreed.
of the minds. And hopefully when the world gets back together, a bunch of us could sit down and maybe come up and figure it out. Yes, we do have Boston Fashion Week, you know what I mean? But it shouldn't just stop there.
Right.
We have so much more to offer, besides Boston Fashion Week or just Caribbean Fashion Week. Like we need to have our big red carpets where we can incorporate some of the musicians and everything to be involved in it as well.
Yeah.
So one of the things I wanted to ask you about is when it comes to business, do you see yourself owning your own boutique, or do you think you want to stay more on the online side of it?
Ideally, I would love to have a boutique. I think even just one would be nice. But in this digital world, it just seems as though online rules, and I just feel like you can definitely try and like set up a storefront and do that whole storefront thing. But it just seems like right now, if you think about brands like Fashion Nova and Pretty Little Thing and all these online Sheen that just exist solely online, and that's one expense that us as designers and as parents starting our own business from scratch might not have to pay for. We might be able to just kind of get around that expense.
Mhm. Definitely makes sense. Definitely makes sense. And I think that you have an online store now, correct?
Yes, I have an online store now. You can go to taylorlovecouture.com, or you can go to taykaystyling.com as well.
Okay. So when you were setting up your online store, did you find it difficult? And it's so funny because when I get to this question, I seem to get the same kind of answer. And I think this question is for me. I have get other participants that ask questions, but this one is for me. When you
Mm-hmm.
did your online store, what was how did you come up with your prices? Because you are Taylor Love Couture, and your pieces, like I said, are amazing. Like, how do you make it affordable for? I'm pretty sure that you want your customer to be anywhere from high end to manageable. So how did
Right.
you come up with the prices for your online store?
So pricing, I feel like for me and all other artists is so difficult. It's so hard to try and put a price on your artwork on something that you just love to do. It almost feels like wrong to charge people for it because you love doing it. So for me, I had to actually get advice from family and friends because they were so tired of me underpricing my stuff. They're like, Taylor, you're not even making any money on this. You're costing yourself. So after that, I started to just basically take what it cost me in materials and just multiply it by two because I just really didn't know how else to price it. And I wanted to be fair. And to me, it was just really awkward trying to charge people for things that, I made. So I just basically based it on that. Whatever I charge in materials, I would just multiply it by two. Mm. On my screen, you're frozen.
And my screen too.
Okay.
We have a little. A little
No, you just hit the your camera. That's all. Gotta hit it again. Well, wonderful technology. You still there, Tay?
I am still here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you very well. I think that was her internet service or something like that. So, well,
Everything's been kind of messed up. Mine's been going in and out with the outages too.
yes, crazy. Well, part of technology. So what we'll do, we'll just put up her photo of it first. See if she comes back. Yeah, I love the outfits. They are so wonderful. And
Thank you.
how long have you been doing this?
So I graduated in 2016, but I technically made my first piece in 2007 when I was in high school. So that was like the very first thing that I ever made. So, I mean, it's kind of hard to say. I've been sewing for a while, but like I say professionally, since I got my degree in 2016, that's when I've really like started my collection.
That's amazing. Um,
Thank you.
Continue to keep up the good work and be encouraged because we're gonna need you.
Okay. How do you feel as a man? How do you honestly feel about lingerie? I get very honestly bad reviews. Men are not feeling it. They don't understand it. But I think there's, we got to find that little happy medium where it's something that is lingerie, but it's not uber, feminine, where, the more masculine men aren't feeling it. Like, how do you feel?
Well, I feel like Regarding this, I feel like, you know what, let me come off of this 1 second. So for me, I love to bring entertainment to people's households. And I've been seeing things like this for a long time. If you want to go see the Slut Nutcracker, or if you want to be entertained in different ways, Broadway shows and things like that, those are things you see to bring entertainment. So for me, even if you're an alpha male, or if you don't, how folks say that if they don't swing that way, or however, to me it's entertaining. I love to see new things. I love to see, people try new things and wear new things. And for me, I think it's okay. I don't see anything that's wrong with
Awesome.
expressing culture, or expressing your love for clothing or entertainment.
Okay, I appreciate that, because I get a lot of mixed reviews from men, and I'm like, it's not a big deal. Just because it's a little like lacy, you're freaking out. Like, it's not a big deal as long as it's not like, I get it, you don't want to wear a skirt or a bra. I'm not gonna give you that, but as long as I'm giving you something that's, comfortable, what do you care?
And you'd
I
be
mean, for you.
surprised, some not to cut you off, I apologize, but
No, that's okay.
some women do find that attractive, so I mean, each his own,
Could
each
be
his own.
anything.
Right, but it's worth a try, and it's worth, I'm not, like you say, you're not asking to step out on some hills or nothing like that. So
Right. I get it. There's a strong difference in a line that we're not gonna cross. But it's like, let's get real close to the line. Like, let's get real close.
it was awesome talking to you, Tay. I'm gonna give it back to our host now. Okay, so much for having me.
I apologize so much for that. Looks like my internet had, I don't know, these kids,
That's okay, girl.
everybody likes to take and play these video games. I'm like, are y'all messing up my internet? What's going on right now?
Okay, we can have up to 7 devices. Like,
Exactly, and I think we have
not
about
overdo
that in
it.
this house. So I wanted to take some questions from some of the supporters that's actually watching right now.
Sure.
One of the questions that I just got is from Missy Chambers, was watching us live on Facebook right now. And she says,
Awesome.
how do the designer manage with financial support and services for the community, more so giving back and contributing to a cause such as breast cancer, lupus, DV? And if there was a cause, what would she lean towards, and why is that?
So recently, let me get my mask out, because the last thing that I did was I made a ton of these over the summer when COVID first happened. We wanted to help and give back. So me, my mom, and my 97-year-old grandmother got together, and we made like a train, and we just made up to, I think we made at least 800 or 900 masks for free, that we gave to hospitals, that I gave to local individuals that just came. Anybody who's alive wanted a mask, you were getting one. It might have took a little bit because we had a lot of people that were in line, but we eventually got to most people and gave out up to, at least, I believe the last we counted was 800 to 900 masks. So that was what we did then. But what's really important to me is suicide awareness and depression awareness and mental health awareness, that whole aspect. And I think it's really important for us to really highlight that. And again, with my brand and highlighting, the beauty in all of our differences, like, that's a major issue that people go through, is not feeling confident within themselves and not loving who they are. And that's a major driving force behind my brand. So I would love to, hopefully, we can all come together, or, figure it out, but come together for that cause, since we're all designers and it all kind of deals with positive body image. I think it would be great if we all kind of came together and did like, a body image awareness kind of show, something like that. I had tried to set something up in the past, but there ended up being like all these issues that were stopping us. But I really wanted to kind of like get somebody nominated. There's always that person who works hard and never has time for themselves or time to spend any money on themselves, where like 5 designers could get together and, you know, make them something and set them up with the shoe and basically do like a whole kind of makeover, and they get like 5 free, you know, custom pieces from all different designers. I think that would be a great idea. You know, I would love to get involved with that whole, you know, aspect of mental health.
Yes, I definitely love that idea. Me myself, I try to get involved as much as I can, you know, whether it's the pink party with Miss Tia Myers for the breast cancer. Me myself, everyone knows that I suffer from lupus. So
Right,
my big thing that I was supposed to do this year before COVID was the
right.
Purple Affair, which was for COVID, and I mean, which was for lupus, but of course the COVID kind of messed that up. But it only messed it up for a little while because, as you said, we already know that once the world opened, us designers are gonna come out full force.
Okay, taking
And
over.
nothing gonna stop us. We gonna shake some stuff up in Boston. Okay, we're gonna make some things happen. Um,
Definitely.
when when you were, let's talk a little bit about body shaming because I heard you know, and that goes with anything from the domestic
Absolutely.
violence to self-esteem to depression and everything, which is why I said that you being a and I don't want to limit you to just being a lingerie designer because you're
Right.
definitely not. I have seen you sit up there and paint stuff on clothes, and I was like, "This girl's amazing! Oh my
Thank
goodness!"
you.
Um,
Thank you.
so we know that you are more than just a lingerie designer, but in that aspect of just the lingerie part of it,
Mhm.
do you feel like more women who are going through depression, who are maybe sitting at home being body shamed by their partner or different family members, whoever, people they call friends. Do you think that you giving these women the opportunity to show they are beautiful, they are sexy, is something that you might want to highlight? Maybe might want to highlight a all plus size lingerie show or something because I think that really is big. We don't have too many plus size shows that's really focused on plus size.
Mhm.
Um, I know, I believe Shen Bennett, I believe she does a plus size show, but I can't think of. Usually, you could throw a whole bunch of names out, and I honestly can't think of a whole bunch of names that I could throw out
Yep.
that are local here in Boston. But
Mhm.
someone like Love Couture could
Mhm.
pull it together like that. You know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
I think it would be remarkable. I really do. I think that that is something that you should probably think about um, doing is a whole plus line fashion show. Because, like I said, I look at these women. This young lady here in this red piece.
Amazing.
All I see is beautiful. All I see is
So much confidence.
sexy, confidence. Like today, when I was driving my husband to work, I was listening to the radio, and Romero and Pebbles was talking about last night they did the sexiest man alive.
Oh
And
yeah, wasn't it Michael B. Jordan?
yes, yes. And Romero was saying something about, well, Dolly Parton is going to be on the cover of Playboy. And he was saying, who would want to watch, who wants to see Dolly Parton on the cover of Playboy? And
Oh
so
my God.
instantly, I'm thinking that just because you are not attracted to that, or you might say that her body shouldn't be a cover of that, what gives you the right to say that? So, my thing is looking at this young lady in the red, me, instantly, I see sexy. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I can't see too many men looking at this picture and not seeing sexy at all.
Okay.
And that's what we want. Not just the small women, the medium women, all of us want to feel sexy. We want to make sure
Period.
that we make our man feel a certain kind of way. We want them attracted to us. You know what I mean? No
Okay.
matter what size we are. And like I said, I give you kudos for just being able to do the lingerie for the plus size. I really do. I give you
Thank you.
kudos. I have designed for plus size for some years, but one of the things that I haven't done is, a lot of people know that I do bathing suits. I haven't really did any bathing suits for plus size because I was nervous about doing
Yeah,
it because I didn't know how
comfortable they
they
are.
were going to take exactly.
Ooh.
And by me seeing this, you're inspiring me like, well, if Tay can do this and these women feel beautiful, these women feel confident, then maybe I could still do this with my bathing suit collection because plenty of
You can.
plus size models go to the beach every year. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They go on cruises, they want to look
Mm-hmm.
good. So you really have influenced me as well. And I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
I'm glad. And it's like, for me, I just think like, imagine not liking your body so much that you feel like you can't wear certain things or you can't be confident in your everyday life. Like, that literally breaks my heart. Like, that makes me feel so bad. And it's like, at the end of the day, just like, you might be born with a nose you don't like or some lips that you don't like. It's your body, and that's what you were born with. Granted, there's always things that you can do to change it, but my body type is just thin. No matter how much I try to gain weight, it really doesn't work out for me. Some people's body type is a little bit curvier, a little bit bigger bone, and you shouldn't have to feel like, as long as you're healthy, but you shouldn't have to feel like, let me go to the gym every single day and work hard every single day so I can look like this standard. I don't have to do that. I don't have to go to the gym every day, or so why should somebody else have to feel like they have to look like me or like the models or like anything besides just themselves? And I just feel like, everybody should just be confident. And she even, that's actually my friend. We went to elementary school together and we've been friends for years. And she actually, reached out to me and had said, thank you so much for like allowing me to do this. Like, I feel so much more confident within myself. And like, we're both crying because I'm like, oh my God, like, this is all I'm trying to do, is make people feel beautiful. And I even had another plus size model at a fashion show. She didn't want to, she was worried about going out in the piece. She had put it on and she was just worried, and she was asking for a cardigan. She wanted to cover up. And I was like, no, we had a little sidebar. And I was like, no, I was like, the whole point is for you to feel confident in what you are. I said, do you see that skinny girl over there feeling like she has to put on a cardigan? No. Does she feel like she has to put on a cardigan? No. So why should you? Your body is just as beautiful as everybody else's. Just because it's different doesn't mean that it's less beautiful. And the more that we put these images out there, the more that we engrave that in everybody else's brain and get everybody else to change their ideas of what they believe beauty is. Because working in fashion, we've seen so many, like, every time I think a certain person, I'm like, oh my God, she's so pretty. A girl will come model for me. I'm like, oh my God, she's beautiful. And then I'll have another model and she'll look totally different. And I'm like, oh my God, she's so pretty. And that's what helped me realize, like, we're all beautiful. It just is all in the eye of the beholder. And we need to put that
Exactly.
out there more.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of fashion shows, we want to actually go to one of your fashion shows here. We have a video that we
Oh,
want to show.
okay.
Folks out here, Facebook land, Zoom land, can see exactly what Taylor Love Couture is all about. So let's roll this video.
Okay.
As he's getting it prepared. What show, the video should be popping up soon, but what show is this?
This is from We Are the Roses. It took place in Worcester, and it was a really well thought out, aesthetically pleasing show. And I love things like that. It was all based around roses, was kind of the theme. And there's like a lot of, you'll see, I believe she has a rose when she comes out, and it was very well put together, a very nice show. and it was out in Worcester. I forget the name of the place. I want to say it was called the Strand. It was very similar to a place in Boston. I almost thought it was in Boston, but it was really nice, very well put together. They picked the models, and it was great. We didn't have to worry about much because, you know, sometimes we have to worry about bringing the models on and stuff like that. So it was
Okay,
very good show.
nice. So they had the models there for you already. I think we're actually queuing up the video right now.
Okie dokie.
Speak. So you can play that for everyone and see. See here.
Bear with me. We're having a little technical difficulties, but we'll get through it as always.
Of course. So while we're working on that, getting that video up, that's another thing. So when we are getting ready for these fashion shows, one of the things that I found in the beginning that was a little challenging, especially shows. Have you done shows, traveled, done any shows yet?
Like in other states?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So you might be able to relate to me on this. So what it is they'll do a model call. We'll just say Atlanta, okay? So you have a model call in Atlanta, they pick the models, and then they send you the spreadsheet and say, okay, these are your models here, and these are their measurements here, right?
Mm.
Then you make these outfits, and then when you get to the show, that's not the correct measurements at all. And you might have to maybe switch up some things or say to this model, I'm sorry, but you know, this isn't going to fit you, so I have to choose another model. How do you go about it when you have a, say, disgruntled model? Do you really, oh, we actually have the video here, so I'll come back to that question.
Okie dokie. Lexi, killing it at the We Are the Roses. It looks so good. Wow.
So let me ask you a question about that.
Sure.
I'm sure people are wondering, what made you, that was a fashion statement. You already know, right?
Yes.
So not too many times do you see the stockings with the lingerie piece like that. How did you come up with that concept? Like how did you make that statement piece there?
Well, I was very inspired by Kanye West's line. And if you look at some of his pieces, he has like this, it's almost like a futuristic kind of look to it, but the pieces are so minimal and muted in like natural tones that it kind of is like a catch-22. It's like you get the best of both worlds, like that futuristic look without that silver metallic kind of colors that they normally go with. So when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, I love that layering. I was like, how can I create that in the fashion world? And it's like they don't necessarily always feel comfortable, you know, going out in just panties and, you know, like basically thongs. So adding the tights helped them not only feel more comfortable, but added a really cool element. And
Yeah.
that was like my very favorite collection to date. I loved that, how it came out. I loved it.
Now, did you have all the models like that? Did all the models have on the leotard underneath?
They
Tights
had
underneath?
all different variations. So like some of them had like high socks, whereas that model had on the full tights. And then some of them would have tights with the socks, and like some of the socks were different colors. So I got a bunch of different kind of like just undergarments, I guess you could call them, and just have them based on skin tone and, you know, variety, what they were wearing, kind of just style it up. So that was the stylist in me that came out at that point.
Mm-hmm. Oh, look at
Kayla.
her face. Beautiful. She is beautiful. I love it.
Kayla is a gorgeous model.
So this picture actually is going to have me roll into something that might be a little sensitive to you. So I remember a few months ago, they're actually, and and I know it happens to a lot of us, but I believe you had made something and then later on you seen it on another designer's page, and clearly it was a replica of
Yeah.
one of your pieces. How do you deal with, I guess, copyright and infringement? Like, how do you deal with people, the copycats? Let's say that.
I think for me it was like almost like an awakening moment. Like I had to go through it and I had to understand like you came in here to be, I guess, a trendsetter. Like I never want to label myself that because it just sounds kind of cocky, but like it's not. We're in fashion, you know, we're supposed to be creating that next look that everybody generally does want to copy. So for me, I had to take a step back and almost humble myself and kind of just relax, and just the way I approached this situation was different than the way I approached it in the past, and the results were so much better. And it's almost like how my mom says, she always tells me like you get more bees with honey than vinegar. And so I would just try to be more sweet and understanding, and I just said, hey, you know, that's a piece that I created, you know, it looks great on you. I'm not upset, just, you know, a little credit, you know, would be great. And he actually tagged me and posted it and, you know, put my name on it and everything. And I honestly did not make that specific piece, but he was trying to remedy, I guess, the situation in the best way that he could. And I'm just appreciative that he actually tagged me, you know. And for us in fashion design, it's so difficult to prove that you were the very first one to make something. And I even tried to look up, can we copyright or trademark certain things? And it's very hard to get like a design it's almost impossible. And I feel like once you get into the business enough, they're gonna look at you like, okay, girl, like you're trying to patent your design. Like we've all been there, done that. Like it's not really possible. So I just charge it to the game and, you know, keep going. And that just shows me I'm headed in the right direction.
Exactly, exactly. And you know, where do you see your designs, say, go in the next 5 years? What is the one, actually, better yet, give me one celebrity that you would like to see yourself dress for the red carpet in 2021.
Girl, you already know that's gonna be, you want realistically or unrealistically? Because unrealistically, if I could dress Rihanna, that would be a dream come true. But I know a girl ain't dressing Rihanna in 2021. But that is my life goal, to be her stylist, whatever, slave, servant, whatever it is she needs me to do, back rubber, I will do it. Like that is my girl. That's my fashion icon.
Don't say that that can't happen in 2021, because we're going to speak it into fruition, because
You're right.
I said that it's been 2 years now and I got to dress Cardi B and Remy Ma, and Amara La Negra, and those are big for me, you know,
Oh
and
my
never did I think
God.
that I would get to do anything for them. So I'm not going to say that that can't happen for you in 2021. We will be praying that, putting that into the atmosphere that that is going to happen for Taylor Love
Okay.
Couture. Definitely.
Okay.
And do you see your clothes? I mean, I know that it's, you know, lingerie, but like I said, you do a whole bunch of other things. Do you see it on the red carpet?
Absolutely. I always wanted to originally do bridal. That was the very first collection that I did in college, was a bridal collection. And I got into lingerie because it was smaller and cheaper for us to try and do from home. But ultimately, I want to create like really beautiful evening gowns. So the red carpet would be, you know, a dream come true to dress somebody on the red carpet.
Yes, I also can see Met Gala. Like that's kind of like one of my big things is I'm like,
Big
okay,
goal.
I have to do Met Gala and I have to do the Oscars. Those are like my two big, like,
Okay. Bucket list
those
items.
are my two big. Oh, look at that. Yes,
Yomara killing it again.
yes. She is serving face. She's serving attitude. She's just serving period. Go, honey.
Amazing.
I see you. Um, so I wanted to say thank you so much. You know, I've been waiting to do this interview, and I'm sorry if I was harassing you, but you
No,
definitely
no,
are one of
girl.
my inspirations for someone that's never been to school. And, you know, we've done a lot of shows together, and my daughter has modeled for you, and
She's
you never
amazing.
cease to amaze me with the things that you do at all.
Thank
Can
you.
you just tell the people, shout out your links, how they can get in touch with you, how they can purchase?
Yes. Yes. Please follow me on Instagram at Taylor Love Couture, Couture. You can also follow my styling page at official Tay Kay, TAYKAY. And stay on the lookout. The new collection drops on January 1st. So we'll have a brand new lingerie collection coming out soon.
We'll be excited, and hopefully we can have you back for, you know, to show off some of that collection. I
I
do
would
want to
love to.
say that hopefully once this world opens back up, everything we talked about, we definitely could get started. I know us here at Wiseman TV, we are willing to help any way possible that we can. Thomas Ruffin himself, he is like the dude. You know what I'm saying? He is like the Jay-Z of dudes when it, of making things
Awesome.
happen. So we will definitely be putting that out in the atmosphere as well. And I thank you so much for sitting down and talking with us and being a part of the Wiseman TV Fashion
Of
Explosion
course. Thank you
show
for
here.
having me. I appreciate it. Designer to designer. Like, I appreciate this is a honor.
Thank you so much. And guys, please stay tuned to next week's show as well and look up. That's Taylor Love Couture. You can find her on Facebook. Like she said, hit up her page. Support. I cannot tell you guys how important the support is. Us as
Absolutely.
designers, we're going through, we might not be essential workers, but we're going through the hard times as well. So if you could just take and say, hey, here's a little something, can you make me this? I'm pretty sure no one's going to turn it down. We would deeply appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Absolutely.
Have a wonderful evening. We'll see you again next Wednesday.